Hi everyone, welcome back to Little K Artistry. I am Kristen, the artist also known as Little K, and I am in my studio at Little K Artistry today, and today is going to be an instructional video. What I'm going to do and share with you today is a step-by-step instructional video on how I do Abstract Cellism. I will be sharing the colors that I'll be using, I will be sharing the process, and also the mix. The mix that I am using is the same mix that Steve Chase uses at Chase Fluid Art. That is the YouTube channel that I started with when I started my fluid art journey. It wasn't until after I had really perfected the Abstract Cellism that Steve Chase teaches, that was when I found fluid art in the Dutch pour, Rinske Dounia and Olga Sobey and several others, Molly Leach from Molly's Artistry. I didn't find those until after I had perfected Abstract Cellism, because it was just something about when I watched Steve Chase's video and those cells appeared and he spun it and then they got bigger and they elongated and it was just like, what? And I just fell in love with it. So that was my introduction to fluid art. And so I'm going to recommend that you go over, once you watch this video, hop on over to Chase Fluid Art and give him a subscription, watch his videos. He has two. So the mix that I'm using with all of my colors is Steve Chase's mix that he teaches. I've thinned it down a little bit because he uses a really high-powered air gun, and I don't have that. I just use hair dryers. So it's like a compressor or something like that. And I don't have one of those, and I don't want to have to purchase one because they're big and bulky and expensive. So I had to modify and thin it down a little bit to get it to work the way I wanted it to work with a hair dryer. So having said all that, that's what I'm going to do in this video. I want to welcome you if you're new to my channel. Hello! If you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. Thank you so much for coming back to watch another instructional video. I love doing these. Lately, I've been hearing some comments saying, bring back the talking, we love to hear you. And some of the comments are also, stop the talking, we want to hear the music, just paint. In an effort to not make everyone happy, because you can't do that, but in an effort to make videos that more people are interested in different styles of art, I do want to do more of these instructional videos. So I will be talking you through this Abstract Cellism pouring video. It's going to be really fun. I'm only using 4 colors and the top layer. The top layer I'm using today is black. It's carbon black. All 4 of these colors, they're very simple. I've used them before. One of them is Permanent Violet Dark. I love that color. It's so pretty. The other one is Cunag, which is quinacridone nickel azo gold. Very hard to find now because they discontinued it, but I still have a little bit of it that I use. I'm also going to be using Van Dyke Brown, which is my favorite brown. And then I will be using a Piggy, and that is a pigment. This little Piggy pigments, and this one is Supernova. I unfortunately ran out of my favorite one. I no longer have my favorite TLP. I ran out of it. I'll go, hold on. It's this one here. I have a teeny tiny bit left, but this is a different mix. This is Persephone. It is the most beautiful pigment I have ever laid my eyeballs on. And unfortunately, this was the last of it, and this is a different medium, so I can't use it in the Abstract Cellism. So I missed Persephone. The closest one that I could find that would go with these colors is Supernova. I've not used it before. I have no idea what it's going to look like. It may end up looking like butt. But as you know, I always say, at least it will be pretty butt. So I'm going to use those 4 colors. Permanent Violet Dark, which is a golden fluid, and I'm going to be using Cunag, which is also golden fluid. I'm also going to be using Van Dyke Brown, which is golden fluid, and then that one pigment, the Supernova from this little Piggy. So I'm going to go get my gloves on, get my spinner ready, and we're going to make some really beautiful art, I hope. So come on back in just a second, and we'll get started, and I'll zoom you in so that you can see what I'm doing. We are ready. Got my gloves on, got my paints lined up, And when I am testing a new color combination or a new way of putting the colors down, and from now on when I'm doing instructional videos, when I'm doing the abstract cellism, I will be doing that on a silicone mat. And this is just one that I picked up at the store. I think it's for pastries. And it does have lines on it, but I flipped it over because the lines have ridges a little bit, and I didn't want ridges in my paint. So I'm going to use this as my tester, and it's really easy to use because the paints glide on it. It's easy to clean up, and I just am finding it much easier. It's more cost effective too because I don't have to worry about scraping a canvas or something like that. Plus it's really easy cleanup. And I've done a few, you can see. It's a little messy here, but you know what? Can't always stay clean. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to build the layers. I'm going to do the lightest ones at the bottom and then build up to the darkest ones at the top because I want the center of the cells and the center of the painting to be a little bit lighter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with this little piggy, and this is the supernova. So I'm going to start with this on the bottom in the middle, and then I'm going to layer on top. I'm just going to put a puddle in the middle here, just to get things going a little bit like that. And I am also going to pop, because I'm always stirring the piggies because sometimes the pigments settle to the bottom, and the stirring oftentimes causes a lot more bubbles than I want. And the bubbles are okay in abstract cellism because they just make more cells form, which is fine, but I didn't want too many. So on top of the supernova, I'm going to go ahead and put the quinacridone nickel azo gold. And then what I'll do is put a little bit on the outside here. And I will do that with all of the colors. So there's that. And then I am going to put not very much of the brown. I don't want a ton of brown, but I do want some contrast in the cells. So this is the Van Dyke brown. Not a lot because I don't want it to get too dark. I am using a black top layer. So just a little bit like that. That is the Van Dyke brown and the supernova and the QNAG. Last but not least is the permanent violet dark. And this is what I want the majority of the painting to look like. I want it to be mostly purple, purple and orange, purple and pink, hopefully. So I am going to put more of this color on, and then I will run around the outside edge like I did with the QNAG. So there'll be a little extra paint on there for sliding. And again, I will say it again, this is the Abstract Cellism mix from Chase Fluid Art, and it's just thinned down a little bit so that I can move it easier with my hairdryer. Okay, there's that, and then I'm going to put a little bit around the outside edge like I did with the QNAG. Also makes it really handy that there are lines, circular lines on this. That way I can just follow the circles. Makes it handy when I'm putting the colors down. I love that. I know Fluid Art Co. also has one. All right. Trying to decide if I want a little more purple. No, I'm going to leave it like that. I don't want to mess with it. I do that. I'm like, oh, I think I'm going to mess with it. And I'm always like, why did I mess with it? Okay, so this is the top layer. There's no Floetrol. So I take that back. There is a little watered down American Floetrol that you water down to make the thinner. There's not a ton of it in here, very little. And it's not the Aussie Floetrol. That's not what makes the cells. It is a mix, a top layer mix, but it does not use Aussie Floetrol. That's really hard to find. If you're in the US, US Floetrol is really very easy to find, and pretty cost effective. You can get it at Lowe's or Home Depot or any of the home improvement places. It's just an additive to add to paint. If you're painting walls or whatever, it just helps to smooth out the paint a little bit more so you don't see the brush strokes, but it works really good in fluid art too. Okay, there's the top layer. Now I'm going to apply the air. And what I'm going to be doing is using a hairdryer. Like I said, Steve Chase uses something different. I don't have that, so I'm going to use this. I'm going to put this on high, on cool. It's going to be a little loud, but just bear with me. You can already see some of those beautiful cells forming. Gorgeous. I am going to go ahead and use my torch to pop some of the bubbles, and it will also help some of the cells to form. It's a little bit off center. That's okay. All right, so you can see in the center it's a little bit lighter because I used a little bit more pressure in the center because I wanted to get down to that first layer, which is the supernova and the Cuneg. So I'm going to spin it just a little bit to stretch the composition a tiny bit and see where we're at. And you can see as I spin it, that top layer, because it's thinner, spreads out over the whole canvas. Because it's a different viscosity, it's a little bit thinner. It helps that black paint to sink down in, pushes the other colors up, and that's what forms the cells. Well, this one is very pretty. Oh my goodness, that supernova is turning things blue. It's, oh, wow. I was not expecting that. That's gorgeous. Ooh, okay. Pop a few more bubbles. Sometimes the blowing out causes a few bubbles to form, and that's why I torch it. Ooh, very pretty. Oh my goodness, this is so pretty. I'm going to spin it this way a little bit now. Just want to stretch the composition a little more, get a few more cells to form, and spread out that top layer a little bit more. There's not a lot spinning off because I didn't put a lot of paint on here to begin with. So there's not a lot to spin off. Oh my word. I just realized my curtains are open. I hope there's not a glare. Hold on, I'm going to come back there and look. Oh, shoot. Oh my word, there's a glare, you guys. Horrible. That's terrible. I'm so sorry. There, can you see it now? I'm so sorry about that. I like to have the window open so I can see what I'm doing, and then I never think, oh my word, I can see, but you guys can't. Just going to scrape the edges a little bit. Oh, owie. That is gorgeous. Goodness. Wow. Oh my word. So what you're seeing is the center, basically the center that I blew out real heavily is taking over most of the canvas, and the outside edges are what's spinning off. And the whole composition is stretching, which is gorgeous. I mean, I think it is. I don't know what you guys are thinking, but this, every time I do one of these, I am amazed. First of all, I'm amazed that it works because I spent months, you guys, literally months trying to figure this out. And I think the problem that I had was I wasn't thinning it down, and sometimes I thin it down too much and then it tends to look like watercolor, which I love. And to each his own, you know, everybody likes their own thing. There are times when I want the really, really crisp cells, so I don't thin it down. And then there's other times when I want really like a watercolor look to it. And this is actually going to do both because the Supernova was thinner and the other colors were thicker. So I'm getting some real good cell formations, but I'm also getting some that look like watercolor, which is just beautiful. I love that. I am also, and I want to let you guys know, I am working on another pouring medium for the Abstract Cellism that is actually only 2 ingredients. Steve Chase's pouring medium is 3, and one of them is kind of expensive. It's, I mean, obviously, if you are like I am, you know, people purchase your art and that's your goal. You're not just making it for friends and family or for your home or as a hobby. And you want these, you know, things to really last and be archival and possibly go into a gallery, then you're going to want to use a mix that uses the top quality ingredients. And this one does. The mix that Steve Chase talks about, it does. However, it is a little more pricey. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to work, and I think I found one that only has 2 ingredients, uses the same top coat, but only has 2 ingredients, and it's more cost effective. So, but it produces amazing results. So I'll be sharing that with you guys soon. But this one, I'm just loving it. If you look at it on the tilt, that Supernova is turning almost all the darker shades, it's turning them blue. And I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but yeah. I think what's happening is it's mixing with the permanent violet dark, and it's just exquisite. I am going to bring you guys, I'll take my gloves off, I'm going to bring you guys in for a close-up, so hopefully you guys can see what I'm seeing as well. Because this is, I am loving this. There's a bit of a close-up. See if I can get that angle just right. See how the blue, this purple and blue? Hold on, let me see if I go this way, if you guys can see a little bit better. Don't know if I have the right angle, but you can see that there's a lot of blue showing up, and it's so pretty. It's just, that Supernova is a gorgeous color. Oh my goodness. So there's all those big cells in the middle. And then this, let me see if I can show you the watercolor effect that I'm talking about. This here, there's big cells that are real formed. And then there's the watercolor, the watery ones in the middle. And that's from the Supernova because I mixed that a little bit thinner. So we're getting a mixture. Let me pull it up here so you can see. So we're getting a mixture of both. And that's one way to do it. You can leave the mix thicker and the cells will be, they'll all be like that. And then you won't get any of these watery looking ones. I like to have a combination of both sometimes. So I really like this. All right, lights are back on, curtains are open. I really hope you guys enjoyed this. Leave some comments. If you have questions, I'll try and answer them. A lot of the questions could probably be answered if you pop over to Chase Fluid Art and watch his videos. But absolutely ask away. I will answer to the best of my ability, and hopefully I'll be able to clear up any confusion, or if you have any questions at all, drop them in the comment section. Leave a comment, let me know what you think of this one, what you think of the colors, and I look forward to hearing from you as usual. If you're a new visitor and you have not subscribed yet, I would ask you to please subscribe. I have a goal of 5,000 subscribers by my 55th birthday, and that is coming up on July 1st. And once I decided that once I hit 5,000, I am going to be regularly giving away free art. So that is something I'm very excited to do, and it's as a thank you for helping me grow my channel and just sharing my art until it finds my people, and hopefully you are my people. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoy this. I hope it was helpful, and check back soon for the next one. I will likely be doing another tutorial for the Abstract Cellism mix that will include my mix. That's a little bit of a variation from Steve Chase's mix that I'm finding really good result with, and I'm really excited about it. So I'll be sharing that coming up very soon. So keep a lookout for that. Thank you so much. Right now, it is the Friday before Easter. I don't know when you're watching this, but if you are watching it before Easter, happy Easter. And if you're watching it after Easter, I hope you had a wonderfully blessed Easter. And I just want to thank you for spending a few minutes of your time with me, because I know you could be doing so many other things. And I just want you to know how much I appreciate you, all of you, each of you individually, for being here on my channel with me. Each time I post a video, there's so many of you out there who comment. Send me put a comment down there, a shout out, let me know from where in the world you're watching. I love to hear where my videos are reaching, and so far we're all over the world in different languages, and some of your comments and the wonderful things that you have to say are in foreign languages, and it's so exciting to hit that translation and see what you all are saying and where you're from. So thank you so much. You guys, you make me smile. Every time I go on my YouTube channel and read the comments, it makes my day just so much brighter. You guys make my day so much brighter. So thank you for that. I hope this brightened your day a little bit, and I hope you learned something. I look forward to reading your comments. This is Little K, and I am encouraging you and inviting you and reminding you to go make the art. You will be so glad you did.